everybody. It is the VP debate night. So we are all here to do a little pre-game, pre-show, pre-cheerleading for Kamala, who we know is going to be fabulous tonight. My name is Julie. I am with Red Wine and Blue, and I am so happy to be here tonight with some fabulous ladies from across the country, actually. I'm in Ohio. Lonnie and Melanie and Maya, though, are we have Virginia and Kentucky represented, so yay. I want these ladies to introduce themselves. You guys, these women have really made a difference. They both have been, all three of them have been involved in starting Facebook pages that just blew up. I mean, they've got hundreds of thousands of ladies on these pages, all about either Lonnie, Suburban Housewives Against Trump, or Maya and Melanie, Suburban Women for Kamala Harris. So we're so glad to have you guys on here tonight. Lonnie, why don't you start off and just say hi and tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. I, like you said, I started the Suburban Housewives Against Trump page back in August, around the middle of August. And it has grown. I think today I checked and it's like 165,000 members. So we're really excited about that. It's been a lot of fun and it keeps us busy. I've got 3 kids. I live in Kentucky. So it's just kind of nice to have some way of feeling active and a little bit of camaraderie in the group. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right, Maya, you started Suburban Women for Kamala Harris. Say hi and tell us a little bit about that.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. Our Facebook group just started on the night after Senator Harris was picked by Joe Biden to be his VP, and it was started on like a whim, like, hey, let's just start this group, and we did it. And overnight it was 1,000 people, and then the next day it was 10, and it grew by like 10,000 people every day for like 5 or 6 days. And I just started calling friends and saying, you got to help me moderate. And that's how I got Melanie in on it. And it's just been growing from there.
Melanie, why don't you say hi and tell us, are you so happy you got called by Maya?
I am. I knew I was in for a lot of work because the night that she actually started the group, we were chatting in a group chat, and I remember her being like shocked as the numbers were just continually going up, and it was just really, really crazy what she had started, this wave that she had begun. And so I was thrilled when she later on, I think it was like a week later or within that week or something, that she sent me a message and asked me to help with moderation. And I have no idea how she was doing all that on her own before. Wow, it's a lot of work.
It's overwhelming, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think that says, don't you think, though, that speaks volumes for how women are feeling in this country, that you start these Facebook pages around, feelings of either women are having around politics regarding President Trump or regarding, the strong woman who's now running to be our VP. I just think that speaks volumes that you just, what'd you say, Maya, the first night you had like 1,000 people like on the page?
Overnight when I woke up, it was 1,000 people. When I went to bed, it was 100 or 200 people, and I just invited like 10 friends, and one person just went crazy. That
was a similar experience to me too, Mom. Like I started it one morning. I got up and saw a Trump tweet and started it. And I sent it to like 10 or 15 friends just because I wanted like to have a little group to talk with. Mm-hmm. And the same thing happened to me. It like exploded, and it's been really exciting to see. But Julie, to your point, yeah, it's I got so many messages right at first that was saying, thank you so much for this. Like we needed this space and to be able to express ourselves and almost kind of just have that solidarity with other women that people have found in these groups. It's really exciting.
So I think we've all brought a beverage to cheer on Kamala. What is everybody drinking in her honor right now?
I have bourbon. I'm in Kentucky, so tonight I'm drinking bourbon. It's a bourbon night.
What about you, Maya?
I've got some moonshine.
Ooh.
All right, girl. I have some Virginia Bold Rock apple cider, which I am not getting anything for putting up here. So,
What about you,
I
Julie?
should have wine. Well, I should have wine because it's red wine and blue, but I'm on this. Okay, this sounds really weird, but I'm on this kick. Someone introduced me to Fresca, and you can put rum in it. You can put it mixes with everything. So I have it, but I have it in my cute little red wine and blue cup that we have. So I'm excited to drink out of this with my also Mamala for Kamala shirt. So I am all ready for tonight.
Yes,
When I show my shirt, I have a shirt. I've got a Suburban AF shirt.
I love it.
yes, girl.
One of the moderators made for some of us, so we got to represent our shirts.
Amazing.
All right. So I want to know whether you guys, I know we just had a presidential debate, which was quite interesting. So what do you guys, were you more excited for that or are you more excited for tonight? What's the feeling here?
I'm personally more excited for tonight.
I think tonight's going to be great because I feel like we're really going to get to hopefully know these two candidates because I don't think one of them is going to talk over the other the whole time.
Yeah, really?
So I think that's going to be great. And I think it's going to be a great time for Kamala to really shine and do what she does best because I think she's really excellent in debates.
100%. You too, Maya?
Yes, I knew that the presidential debate was going to be a hot mess because the president was there, right? So basically, if hot mess was a person, Donald
Right.
Trump. So, and I knew we weren't going to be able to hear anything. I mean, he did exactly what you would expect your 3-year-old to do. So I'm excited that we might actually hear some policies this time, and we might actually hear some complete sentences and answers without, all the drama.
Yeah, well, after having watched her in Senate hearings and questioning people, I know 100% it's going to be complete sentences. There's going to be logic. There will probably be policies that will be so refreshing to hear. But I'm really excited because we actually have someone waiting to come talk to us who actually knows Kamala Harris, actually worked for Kamala Harris, and she's going to give us a little bit of inside scoop information on her. So I am really excited to bring on Kristen Ford. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Kristen. So where are you? Where are you coming from here?
I am in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. I'm in Arlington, Virginia. My son has been home from daycare all day. I'm juggling lots of things, but super excited for the debate tonight and know Kamala is going to shine.
So tell us how you know Kamala. What were you doing and you working for her?
Yeah. So my husband, I now live in the DC area, but my husband and I used to live in San Francisco, California. And I worked for Kamala for 2 years at the end of her time as Attorney General in California before she came to the Senate. So I was her speechwriter and spokesperson for 2 years. And it was the highlight of my career. I loved working for her.
So what was she like as a boss?
Super tough. Always the smartest person in the room. You had to show up with your A game all day long, which I loved. She's held to a high standard. She's super smart and she expected it of everyone around us. And she brought out the best in our team. Always asked really, really smart, precise questions. I mean, you were just talking about how she shows up in the Senate hearings and what we've seen in debates. It was like that in staff meetings or reporter interviews. She'd always get right to the point and you had to be, fully prepared to answer the questions. And it was just such a privilege to work for because you were learning every second, every day. And she did so much important stuff. We worked on school truancy and protecting the climate in California. We did a press conference in Santa Barbara after there was a big oil spill. And she did the press conference in her 4-inch stiletto heels. And then she changed into her Chuck Taylors and she toured the site where all the oil spill cleanup was happening. And she could just pivot on a dime from one to the other. And so it was always learning, always really, really impressed by how smart she was and so excited that she's on the ticket.
It sounds like she's a woman. She's a multitasker. She can, switch from one thing to the next, right?
Yeah.
So Do you have a favorite story or something you can share with us, just in terms of your working with her?
It's funny. I have so many like work stories. One of my favorite events we did, we were at an elementary school in San Francisco doing a press conference, rolling out a big report. And she wanted to go tour some classes and meet some kids afterwards. And we went into this third grade class and she asked them a couple questions. And then she said, okay, you guys ask me questions. And the kids in the class said, all right, Attorney General Harris, what's your favorite food? And then she spent like the next 5 minutes trying to convince these third graders that spinach should be their favorite food. But she was like so convincing and so compelling that these kids were like, well, maybe I should rethink spinach. But she loves kids. She's always, my son was born when I worked for her, and she sent me flowers after he was born with a handwritten note, and he always wanted to see baby pictures and check in and see how I was doing and make sure I was supported, which meant a lot to me. It was like hard charging, like political job, long hours. But I'd pop in and out of my meetings to go breastfeed my son at the daycare across the street, and like always had the full support of her and the team, and got to just do so much cool work and seeing the difference that she was making in people's lives in California and now all across the country.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually a fabulous endorsement for all the women who are watching. What do you think why do you think that she's just going to be a fabulous vice president for our country?
I think that she has so much vision and creativity and grit and determination. She's always been held to an impossible standard. She's had to, go twice as far, jump twice as high. And she always does it with grace and so much heart. She just really, really cares. I really felt like from day one until the very last day I worked for her that she was in it for the right reasons. She genuinely really cared about people, connected with people. And that's what we need in politics. That's what we need in public leadership. And I think she has a vision for the future, which is going to be so important at this critical moment in our country's history. And she represents something, right? She represents a way of bringing people into politics, of bringing people into the conversation who've been overlooked and disregarded in the past. And I think that's so important given how harmful Trump's rhetoric is and how much is at stake for the future of our country and for all of our families and our communities.
Have you seen her debate before, except for when she was running for president? Have you seen her do that?
Yeah, well, she ran for Senate when I was working for her, and there was one debate in that race, and it was the same night that the San Francisco Giants, were in the World Series. So like no one in California was like paying attention to it. And she just trounced her opponent. It went viral in sort of smaller circles the next day, because it was like she just so handily defeated her opponent that it wasn't even like a conversation. So yeah, I think there's, especially given that Pence is so uncomfortable around women and strong, powerful, talented women. I can't wait to see her trounce him.
You guys have anything you want to ask her? I was just any questions or anything?
I don't really have a question, but just I love the fact that you felt empowered and you were comfortable enough to go and nurse across the street. And I nursed all 4 of my children. And I just think that's really important. And to have someone who could be in the White House, who understands how important that is. And who knows what could happen if we have someone in the cabinet one day who, is a nursing mother, and we can get pictures of that, and that will help normalize nursing across the country, which our country is so far behind the world in acceptance of nursing. So I love that story that, it was just the thing you did,
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah. And I'm assuming working for a woman probably made that much easier in terms of being a mom and balancing all of that.
And she just set the tone that it was like, we're here to do our jobs. And we also understand that we have families and commitments outside of work. And how do we support one another as whole people? And I always really, felt supported and empowered, and know that that's the sensibility she'll bring to, to the role of vice president, and she's brought to all of her public service. So I was benefited and blessed by it in a firsthand way, and I know it'll mean a lot to people all across the country when she's the vice president.
Well, I was curious about the debate question just because I've seen her, like I said, in the Senate, and I've seen her pretty much almost bring grown men to tears. So I was kind of wondering what you thought about it.
Yeah.
Was it a
I
possibility?
don't think she's going to pull any punches. There's just too much at stake, and I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
I think my favorite.
I want to thank Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. My screen was spinning, so I didn't know. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, I think my favorite fact that I've learned about the debate right now is that Mayor Pete is who she's been like rehearsing with, and I think that's so funny because he is so very like, I mean, obviously his policies aren't anything like Mike Pence, but they just kind of have that same little personality. So I think that was a perfect pick for for her to rehearse with, because I feel like that's just going to serve her better, because I think Pence's campaign picked Scott Walker, I think they picked, which is why they picked a man for him to rehearse against when he's going to be debating a woman boggled my mind. So yeah, I think she's going to be
because he's not allowed to be in the same room.
Right. He just has permission.
There you
Mother
go.
won't allow that.
All right. Well, we want to thank Kristen so much for coming on and giving us a little bit of insight into Kamala. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And we're going to keep. Yeah, we'll keep our conversation going. Maybe a little bit of trivia. I had a couple of things here. Do you guys know what year Kamala Harris was born?
Oh man,
Mm.
I did before drinking.
Can I cheat?
You can cheat.
70?
1964.
64.
64. And does anybody know where she went to undergrad?
Howard, right?
Howard. Is that
Howard. And this is a fact that I looked up today and I really kind of liked it. So she was involved in some organizations at Howard, and one of them was the debate team. So she's been preparing for this for quite a while.
Yeah, and I mean, she's phenomenal at debates. I mean, when you watch her, she's just so calculated, and she's just so good at what she says. She really is able to seize that moment and make it hers, which I think will be amazing to see tonight.
So I'm sure you guys have seen coverage, of them out campaigning as much as they can with COVID, but do you have a favorite moment or something you've just really admired that you've seen from her on the campaign trail? Anybody to speak up if you have something?
I like how she deplanes, and I like how Obama deplanes, and I just feel like it's a little bit of swag going on there that we just haven't had from other people, and we definitely don't have it with this administration. They trip up the steps and down the steps. So I just enjoy, I enjoy watching her just walk out the plane. It's kind of cool.
I love it. Yeah, I think my favorite moment is similar to that, Maya. It's actually not from recently, but it's from last year when she had on the rainbow sparkle jacket at the San Francisco Pride Parade, and she was dancing, and I just loved that moment because it really it just showed a fun side of her. It showed, just pure raw emotion, and I just loved that.
I think that's what we're all ready for. We're ready for fun, to be back in the White House, and for it to be enjoyed. Whereas now anything coming from the White House is an automatic, it's painful. I miss the Obama days and the seeing them dance together and their happiness and their joy and their all of that. I miss that so very much.
They were human.
Yeah.
Like humans.
Real people. Yeah.
And Joe and Kamala will definitely bring that back 100%.
Yeah, I agree. That just grace and integrity to the office. I'm happy to see that again. I actually saw a tweet today that made me laugh. It said, "I can't wait for Joe Biden's presidential tweets to start because it'll be so boring." I mean, I can't remember exactly how it said it, but it'll be so boring we won't have to worry anymore, right?
Yes.
Did you guys see the video of all the presidents with their dogs and Trump doesn't have a dog? Yeah. I thought that was very humanizing. Look at what you just said, a real person acting like a real person. And I thought that was a really cute video. And I loved with Joe Biden with his dog Champ. It was really, really cute. So
It's hard to trust people who don't like dogs.
yeah, I know. I have one.
My mother doesn't like dogs. I don't trust her. So,
So I will say that one of my favorite things with watching her on the campaign trail has been her interactions with young, like little girls, and just the look on their faces and how she talks to them, and I don't know, I feel like she's just such an empowering figure. What was your reaction in your circles with your friends, with other like maybe young women that you know when she got the nomination? Like, how did people around you react to that?
Well, for me, I mean, when I think about the future, I've got a daughter who's 8 years old. And for her, like, she gets so excited. She was so excited for Hillary Clinton, and she was crushed when Hillary Clinton lost, not because she cared about politics, but because she was so excited to see somebody who looked like her about to attain the highest office in the land. Right. And it's been the same with Kamala. She is so excited to see a woman. And we try to educate our kids about people of color and the struggles that they've endured for years. And so they realize like how special it is that there's actually, not only is she a woman, but she's a woman of color. And I think that's awesome for kids to grow up with that now. So I'm super excited. My daughter's super excited. Even my son is super excited about this. So
100%.
I think, yeah.
How about you, Melanie or Maya? What was the reaction, or what was your Facebook feed saying after the nomination? I'm sure it was blowing up. Mine was.
Mine was crazy. I have a lot of AKA women in my family and on my timeline. And I just remembered putting something to the effect on my Facebook page that I was enjoying watching all the AKAs lose their collective minds. They were just having so much fun, and the screaming and the videos that they were posting of themselves just screaming. It was just awesome. It was so much joy. It reminded me of Obama when he got it, especially for my community. So it was an awesome moment.
I want to say that I had a feed full of excitement and happiness, but I have had a lot of other, which is now gone from my feed. And so there was a lot of silence and a lot of nothing. I mean, obviously on the side of my feed that includes Maya and friends, there was a lot. And I myself personally, I'm so excited for Kamala to bring all parts of her heritage into the White House and give a voice to so many that haven't had that. And I think it's an amazing thing. And I'm really happy to have purged a lot from my feed.
Good. We're waiting for you to do it.
Melanie, that's exactly why I started the group that I started, because I had so much of that in my group or in my feed that I was like, I need a place away from this. And so that has really been just a solace for me to have that break away from. And I'm like you, I've had to delete several people. I went through probably around the beginning of August and just cleaned house and got rid of a ton. So that helped.
It really does. It really does. I grew up in a household where the word feminazi was a thing. And so, what I've had to remove from my life. And it's been a lot. And it's been a lot to deal with. But I'm good with that. I'm really, really good.
And so this was all prompted because of her nomination, or was this something in the works? So I'm saying maybe.
No, this started like 4 years ago, but it really culminated over the past 4 years. So no, it definitely started 4 years ago when I was like, no, this is bad. This is really bad. And so many people were all of a sudden saying, no, this is fine. This is what we really want. And I said, this is not for me, to grow up in such a conservative situation. And I get conservatives. I understand the conservative mindset. I get that abortion is a touchy, gray subject. I get that religion is a big deal and has so much that, in people's hearts. But what I didn't understand was the letting go of everything to support someone who's clearly Lucifer in disguise. I don't know. Is it even a disguise? It's not a disguise. I don't understand what happened. And I'm very happy not to be part of it.
Well, I'm going to take it as a positive that you have cleaned that up, that Kamala also inspired you to do part of that. And I'm going to say the positive here that I have heard from so many women is all of the women that we have now met from these Facebook groups, from political activism, women who are inspired to get engaged. And so I take that as a complete positive that I have met so many amazing women. You're shaking your head, Maya, yes.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter when you wake up or when you clean house or whatever, as long as it's done and you're here, I think it's fantastic. There's so many people who are choosing the right side of democracy, the right side of history, the right side of inclusivity. There's so many Republicans or conservatives, because Republican isn't a dirty word, but it is now, so I call them conservatives. There's so many conservatives who are voting Biden-Harris to save our country, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a great thing. Do I expect them to stay voting that way? No, and that's fine. When we get back to being able to communicate and to talk about the policies and find middle ground, then it's all gravy. But for those people who are coming over to support the ticket, I think it's fantastic, and I respect them tremendously because that's what a patriot looks like.
Yeah.
100%.
It's well said, Maya.
Yeah, I 100% agree that they are doing the right thing for the country and being a patriot, and I 100% agree with that. So I will say my other favorite Kamala moment. So I wondered if anybody else has done this. Does anybody have Chuck Taylors? Are you wearing them to go vote? What's your voting plan?
I got them on now.
Anybody else got like a fashion plan?
I brought a new pair. I love them. I was so excited. And when they came, they looked a little too big. And then my daughter, who has her feet are quite bigger than mine, she came over and was like, "Oh, new sneakers!" And so they're hers because I bought them in the men's size, so they were 2 sizes too big, but they're hers.
They run big. I've heard.
Yeah, so I don't have any.
Yeah, no, I would love to have a pair, but I have really bad feet. I have like the feet of like an 80-year-old woman, so I have to wear orthotics in my shoes, so they won't work for me.
Well, you can put them in.
They're so cute. Do what?
Buy them wide and then just put your orthotics in.
Maybe I should try that. I didn't know they came in wide.
They do.
Oh, well, there's a solution then. Because I never get to wear cute shoes because I'm like an old woman.
I feel like it's giving me a reason to go shop. Like I need a reason to buy a pair of shoes. I haven't really been into shopping with COVID because I'm not going out. So now this gives me a reason. And have you guys seen the people who are doing the Chuck Taylors and putting the descent collar?
Yes.
Yeah.
So cute.
If somebody knows a site for that, I hope they will direct me there because I will totally buy those shoes. Like I just think those are amazing.
I know all the descent jewelry and it's great. Yeah, very fun.
I know a lot of women, when they voted in for Hillary, wore like the white pantsuit or wore, something. So I totally want my blazer and my Chuck Taylors, preferably RBG Chuck Taylors to wear to the polls. But
I love it.
I got to make a plan for that. But all right. Well, ladies, countdown is on. The debate will be on very soon. And I am really happy to have this chance to chat with all of you. I'm so thankful that you guys all started your groups and that you brought all of these women across our country together. And I hope they continue to grow even after the election and we keep this momentum and this sisterhood together. So it was nice to meet you, Melanie, and see Maya again and see Lonnie again. And everybody, I will hope you all enjoyed the debate.
Cheers.
Everybody have a good night.
Yes, thank you so much.
Cheers.